Oh, the streets are cold and grey, but the fire in our hearts won't stray from the pitch where dreams collide. We'll stand together side by side. Oh, when the Spurs go marching in, when the Spurs go marching in, I wanna be there in that number. Oh, when the Spurs go marching in from the north.
Hello, welcome back to Project Spurs. Another defeat for Tottenham Hotspur. That is now 10 league games without a win. No wins in 2026. And we've conceded 10 goals in our last 3 games. It doesn't seem to be getting any better, even with a new interim manager. It's a slight fight back towards the end of the game. However, once again, just not good enough. Square pegs and round holes is something that I read a lot on social media of just players being put into positions that clearly they're not able to perform in. It is very frustrating. We've got Phil and Joseph with us at the moment. Callum and Sire on their way as well. The 5 of us to be back. But just starting up with you, Phil. Disappointing once again, right?
Yeah. I mean, Fulham away is always a difficult place for us to go, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we haven't got much there over the years. And it was always going to be a difficult game, bearing in mind, you know, their kind of general form and, you know, Harry Wilson kind of being in form and us obviously not being in form. So it was going to be tough. You know, I somewhat blindly changed my prediction for a draw to a Spurs win, I think, today. I'm not quite sure why I did that, but I think I just had a bit of optimism about us just like literally kind of turning up and, you know, the sun shining and, you know, us just kind of somehow pulling out a performance, right, with some of our players delivering. But look, I mean, for me, there's very little highlights out of that game or any kind of positives. You know, I'm sure we'll talk about it in more detail. You know, some of the subs that came on actually looked better than the players they replaced, and, you know, they had an impact on the game, let's say. Maybe that's something that Tudor hopefully will bring into consideration for the Palace game. But look, for me, you know, Fulham should have scored at least 5 goals, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They could have scored even more. And, you know, even Vicario, I mean, he was awful in the game, but to his credit, he made that save, right, when the game truly could have been over. So, look, it's another defeat. It's 35 defeats now in 18 months in the league alone. And I don't know where we're going. Well, we're going towards relegation, aren't we? But, I mean, I don't really know what else to say about it, to be honest.
I mean, Joseph, we know where we're going. We are heading further and further down the Premier League. The problem we've got at the moment is we're having to rely on other clubs around us, aren't we?
Yeah, because I genuinely don't know where the next win's going to come from. I just don't see it happening. I don't see it in the players. I don't see it in the tactics. I don't see it in anything to make me feel like we've got any chance of picking up any kind of result going forward. So, you know, I predicted us to lose. We did lose. We deserve to lose. I think anyone saying otherwise is wrong. I understand, like, look, we're in a lot of group chats. You know, I'm listening to a lot of people. I'm not hearing it because that was pathetic. It was another pathetic performance. Let's stop trying to cope and stop saying like, oh yeah, we played a little bit better in the second half. We could have been 4-5-0 down at that point, and it would have been fair. You know, it was awful. It was awful game of football from us. And I'm just done with it. I don't know what to think and where things are going to go. I don't see it going any better. It's just really shit right now. It's a really, really bad spot. Again, I thought we were going to lose, but you still have that little kind of, you know, feeling where you're like, you know, we love this club. We're thinking, yeah, there's a chance. We can get a result. Something can happen. But no, we were completely outplayed from the first minute of that game, and I don't have any other feeling on it. And again, I appreciate everyone's entitled to their opinions, and I understand there's some Spurs fans who are going to be more positive, but I don't understand how you can be. I really don't. I don't get how you can be, because that was pathetic from the first minute. It was awful.
One of the biggest problems I had, Phil, with the game is that we had 5, possibly, if you can count Gray's centre midfielders. We can't control the football game. Your game is controlled in your midfield. You look at the best managers that have come from being players are always centre midfielders, pretty much, because they know how to control a game. We haven't got anybody that seems to be able to control a football game at the moment. We're just passing by. I thought Conor Gallagher today it's just a deer in a headlight.
He's this is also a problem though, if we're being honest, goes back almost to the Poch days, really, in some respects, to when we lost, or after we lost Dembele. Since then, we've never really had, in my opinion, any proper functioning midfield. But over the last couple of seasons, we've obviously signed some players who we thought would make it more effective. Even when we had Højbjerg as well, there was a bit more. But yeah, you're right. Look at the team and the squad we've got at the moment. I mean, on paper today, I know we're missing, Bergvall, we're missing Madders, we're missing Kulusevski, but arguably on paper, you'd still think that with the players that we have in centre midfield, we'd be able to, have some hardcore control of midfield. Yeah, we don't have that progressive, deep lying playmaker or progressive passer in there, right, to create attacks and stuff. But you'd think we'd still be able to win enough 50-50s and have some kind of control. We had nothing in there whatsoever. Nothing. Sander Berge, the player I like, was excellent for them in midfield. But we had nothing. And Conor Gallagher, he was based out on the right-hand side on right wing from what it looked like. But
Si's dressed up for our funeral.
Si's just come back from Tottenham's impending relegation funeral. Si, you've obviously been somewhere special, or you're just you've just had a cup final on Championship Manager, and you've dressed up for it. Let's be fair, the 400 odd of you of watching, if you've ever played Football Manager to a certain degree, you've considered it, and don't think you haven't. And Si's definitely just come out of a cup final from Football Manager. But Si, just initial thoughts on the game, lineups, etc. To me, I thought it was square pegs and round holes again.
Yeah, I agree, guys. This is what I'm wearing on every podcast until we get a win now, because I think this is the slow death of our football club. To be honest, I'm jumping on the Joseph bandwagon. As I said earlier now, I fear for us, and I am so scared. Guys, there's nothing more. I mean, that first half, I was really expecting a bounce, and that first half was shocking. I mean, the second half, we came back, got a goal back, but let's be honest, we could have been out of sight by the end of half-time, really, couldn't we?
Yeah, up to half-time, we were probably lucky to still be in the game. Yeah. I think we were lucky to be in it just after half-time. To be honest, we were lucky to be in it until maybe the last 15 minutes when we showed a little bit of, I don't know, fight, I guess. Richarlison.
The game should have been out of sight before we scored. They had a couple of really good chances. The one where Vicario made that save, I was genuinely so angry. When I think it was Harry Wilson going through on goal, and there was
Smith
not
Rowe.
one. Oh, was it? Sorry, so yeah, Smith Rowe.
Yeah.
Completely on his own. There was not a Tottenham player near him. I couldn't believe it. I genuinely couldn't believe it, because it was the most simple run, and Basuma was on the halfway line. Tell who just come on, just was like, yeah, but it's not my job, I'll let him go. I couldn't believe it. As much as, I'm not going to take credit away from Fulham. I said, the reason I expected Fulham to win this game is because they're a professional outfit. They've got solid players who can play simple football well. But we made it so easy for them. Like all they were doing was passing and moving, and we just stood there like statues, just letting them play around us. Like I can't understand why there was no energy, no fight, like in the way that we were defending, in the way that we were, even when we pressed. Sometimes we would try and start a press, and there was once in the second half we did this, where Richarlison runs up the pitch. He kind of calls players to start pressing with him. Archie Gray is the only one to go and do it with him. And then the pass just goes straight past Archie Gray because he can't press on his own. And Fulham, then now Archie Gray's out of position and Fulham are just on an attack. It's like, it doesn't make any sense.
The only bit of fight I felt like we had is when Richarlison actually came on. And I give him enough pelters. I give him enough pelters. But when he came on, I could give him some credit. At least he looked like he cared.
The contrast between him and Kolo Muani was stark, though, wasn't it? I mean, that was
Muani just wanted to go down at every point he could to try and win a foul.
Whereas I would say Solanke as well.
And
Solanke was awful.
The Solanke bit of moving into the number 10 worried me. We're just going to bring Cal back in now. And Cal, your initial thoughts on the lineup, because me and the lads here are just, we questioned it, but I appreciate he hasn't got a huge amount to play with. But we need balance in this team, and it just showed when we did put some balance in there, we actually looked relatively okay. Are you with us, Cal? I think Cal's probably
it was a messy balance. I think that's the best way of putting it.
I think you're having some delays on your end, I think, there, Cal. But we're coming back to you,
guys.
Saigon.
Can I just say? I mean, did anyone know what type of formation we were playing in the end that game?
Oh, well, to me, it was a 4-4-2. Is what we played. But to me, when we were lining up, it looked with a back 3-4-2. 1-2, which I kind of didn't mind because it's Xavi being able to move around. Creatively speaking, you've got Pedro Porro. I didn't mind as a right full centre back. I think I said this to Joseph on Friday. For me, it would have been Spence there, and I'd have had Pedro Porro as a right winger. And at least we got some balance to it. But it was a bit of a mess. It was a 4-4-2 in the end, and we had 4 centre midfielders. Just running, no creativity. None of them have. All 4 of them are the same profile, Phil. They're all the same profile.
They're all the same profile, but we had like Conor Gallagher kind of playing right wing, right midfield, and just losing the ball constantly. I think he lost the ball. It felt like he lost it like 7 or 8 times in that first half, like really, really easily. Paulinho, he didn't really exert any influence on the game, despite obviously being that kind of player that wins 50-50s. I didn't think he really did anything. And then the other players that we had in there as well. I mean, there was just nothing. And Archie Gray, like the first half, look, kudos to Archie Gray because he always gets asked to play in different roles, and he turns up and he gives us all, and he did fantastically well for the goal, right, for our one, and he's always reliable and stuff, but he should not be playing on the left. But we have zero, whether it's 3 at the back or 4-4-2. That's what I couldn't understand though, is why did he play like 4 at the back and then 4 in midfield?
Hello.
Have those centre midfielders in there. He could have played still a 3-5-2, right, and then he could have worked a bit better with the number 10s in there. He could have had the 2 classical centre midfielders. He could have tried to bring more width in with Porro. Porro would have anyways got forward more under 3-5-2 or 5-3-2, whatever you want to define it as. Gray maybe as well, or he could have just been a bit more there, and then Xavi would have been. So I thought that Tudor got it wrong personally. I thought he set us up wrong, and and it just shows again for me that you need that left-footed player on the left.
We need balance desperately. Sousa came on, looked okay. I thought Matisse Tell really changed things. He was he looked like he was trying to progress the ball. He was going at players, interested. I said this to the guys that were on Friday, and I said this in jest, but I'm actually going to say this and ask all of you as a serious question. If Igor Tudor doesn't get a result against Crystal Palace, do we have to find an alternative? Because, and the reasons I ask this is, when you bring an interim or a caretaker manager into a football club, you bring them in for an immediate reaction, a bounce of any sort to get a performance, to get a win. Michael Carrick, let's use him as an example. And mostly, traditionally, interims or caretakers are brought into football clubs that know the club inside out and know the league inside out. We have taken a huge gamble in bringing someone in that doesn't know the team, doesn't know the league, and doesn't know us as a football club. Now, I always hear loads, you can see all the different names. I don't want names and Harry Redknapp and all these things. I don't want names. But I'm going to start with you, Si. If we don't get a result against Palace, because for me, these two games, we needed 4 points. We now have to get 3. If we don't, do we replace him, or do we just hope that Forest and West Ham don't pick up any points?
I think we need to get something against Palace, preferably a win. I would possibly give them the game after, and then if we were to lose all 2 of them, then I would get rid. We need someone in who loves this club as much as the 5 of us do, who has a love for this club. We are, at the moment, Gaz, we are a sinking ship. And I think the only way we can stay in this league is if some of the other ships leak more water than us. That is the only way we can stay in this league at the moment.
Cal, just coming to you on the same question. If we don't get a result against Crystal Palace, just repeating it because the numbers are growing quite rapidly, just under 800 people watching at the moment, so appreciate you. But I asked this in jest. I said it not really thinking it was something that we'd have to think about, but an immediate reaction is needed from interim managers. He's clearly not got that in these 2 games. I didn't see that at all until probably the 60th minute, 70th minute. We actually looked like we were interested. If we don't get a result against Palace, do you think there's going to be another change happening?
I think it has to be looked at, doesn't it? Realistically, we are all fans, and at the moment, we rely on our club to get something out of these games. At the moment, it's like I said, we're relying on other people to make us look just not as bad as them, realistically. And it's like you say, there's plenty of names out there, but the aim of an interim is to be someone who is 9 times out of 10 linked to the club in some form or another, knows what we want, knows how to get a tune out of them, potentially ex-players. There is that one prime candidate who's, i.e. we've had as an interim twice previously, and that's Ryan Mason. And
Ryan Mason continues to get linked, doesn't he? He continues to get linked. He's available. He's sat there. I know it's not the glamorous of things, but at least he understands the football club. Someone on Twitter has replied to this just before I come to you, Phil. He said, yes, a manager should at least play players in the right positions. Literally no one played in their position, played in their own position. That's from Ruben, Spurs fan NL. Phil, just coming to you on the question. So I think we did we speak about it? I know me and Joseph did, but I think me might have as well. Yeah,
we did, and I was I keep having to change my mind this season, like constantly. It's so annoying. I know I am this season. I hate it. I'm normally quite solid around things like this, but
your wife says you ain't. Your wife says you ain't.
She can't. She still can't.
She can't hear him.
You can't hear it anymore, so it's fine. You know, I can say what I want. No, look, I said yesterday. Was it yesterday or day before? Whenever it was, I said that
Friday.
It was probably going to be kind of Igor Tudor to the end of the season, whatever happens. But the reality is, we're in absolute dire straits. We're desperate. We have nothing in this team whatsoever. We said it on Friday that we're dead. We've got no energy. We got no fitness. We got nothing. And the reality is, if we don't win against Palace, even if we get a draw, I don't know. Actually, who? Sorry, you said like give them another game. Who are we playing? The game after Palace?
So we've
I
got
think
Palace
it's
up
I think it's
next,
Liverpool,
and,
isn't it?
and then
I
we've
think
got
Yeah,
Liverpool,
Liverpool.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Well, look,
that's a loss. That's a
So-
loss.
No, look. I
Yes.
mean,
Sandwiched
look, I
in
mean-
between that is obviously Atletico Madrid, and then after the second Atletico Madrid game is probably the most important game of our season is at home to Nottingham Forest.
we
I mean-
if we don't get anything out of Palace and we continue to play essentially like we did today, with not really creating any chances, giving away stupid goals, not having any control over midfield at all, like no balance whatsoever, then to be honest, we have nothing to lose by making a change again. Even as a lot of other fans will laugh at us, the media will probably laugh at us and just ramp up the criticism of the club and the ownership, but rightly so. We've got nothing to lose, and as we said, if it would be Ryan Mason, but it could be another option out there, someone who's got a connection to the club. It needs to be just someone who can come in and remind the players of how important the club is. What us fans, how we live this club, and how we need this club and the football players to give everything, and it needs that interim to come in and make sure that the players know that, and however they do it, just try and bring a bit more positivity and confidence in. And yes, we should make a change, because if we don't get a result against Palace, and God forbid we lose it, it'll be 3 defeats in a row. Not really any positives to take out of Tudor's reign in terms of anything that's happened in the games, because to me, we don't look any different. In fact, in some ways, we almost look possibly worse than we were.
I thought we looked worse for majority of that game. The only positive, though, Phil, is that Man City are at home to Nottingham Forest next week. That's the only positive.
Well, yeah, so we're praying.
We're
all
praying
of us,
on other people.
We're praying on other teams. And look, we are lucky that they are not winning games and stuff. But the reality is that Forest and West Ham are good enough, and they've shown that they can build runs of form, that they can get out of this quickly. All they need is one win, right? And suddenly they've got that positivity. So it's up to us.
They do.
To get the win.
Joseph, I'm just going to come to you. I had a good comment from Neil W. Hartlepool, sorry. Sorry, Neil, on X. He's a good guy, actually. He messaged quite a lot. He said, this is in relation to the Tudor question. He said, Gary, you've just asked the perfect question, and in my humble opinion, yes, he gives us no motivation and doesn't sound inspirational. A huge question, who replaces him? And would Enoch dare to admit yet another mistake? And I think that last bit is critical on that, Joseph. Would Enoch dare admit a second, third mistake of the season?
No, I don't think they would. It's such a precarious situation, because we don't really know how they're feeling behind closed doors. I mean, I'm sure they're shitting themselves like we are, but I'm sure they're kind of thinking they've got to stick with what they've done. And to be honest, like me personally, like I think we could get rid of the manager and get somebody else in. I don't think it's going to make a difference, though. Personally, no. I don't see anybody coming in and making any kind of difference, even if it is Ryan Mason. I don't think he's going to come in and start and just galvanise these players any more than anyone else will. I mean, Igor Tudor's been in this situation twice, maybe not in relegation form, but coming into teams that who have no confidence, who are really, needing to instill belief in them, and he's gotten it out of them, and he's not doing it with us. And I can't sit here and completely blame the manager. I'm not saying he is completely not at any fault. Again, I thought the lineup today was really confusing. I don't understand. I don't know why Sousa didn't start to start with. I didn't think Archie Gray was bad, but why was Sousa just not starting at left back? He's the only natural left back fit. Yeah. Just play him. Like there's no reason not to. I understand he's new to the league and everything, but he's the only natural left back. Just play him.
It's the only naturally left-footed defender that's available. But it's like Chris is saying here, we simply need to play our fittest players in the best positions to start.
100%. Like I would have probably started Danzo. If he was fit to be on the bench, he was fit to start the game. I would have started Danzo. I thought when he came in, he looked comfortable on the ball. He was actually holding the, battling with defenders well. I didn't, but even then, so he's not, void of any kind of judgment. But even then, there wasn't anything from those players for me to think that they care that much about getting out of this situation. In my opinion, like, I understand, you know, we had a couple of chances towards the end of the game. We tried to kind of, but that's bare minimum. But I saw from that midfield, I thought Basuma was pathetic all game. Conor Gallagher was terrible. Xavi Simons was absolutely atrocious. I know he was using the wrong position, but every time he got the ball, he had no idea what to do with it. He had no idea, and he wasn't fighting back. He wasn't running back. There was not any kind of passion in that performance at all. And when you're in this position, we should be fighting so much harder than Fulham. They've got nothing to play for, Fulham, really. And
no, they need a few more points, didn't they, to reach 14? Exactly. They're probably secure.
Like, they're fine. They looked fine because they're confident and they're comfortable in the way they play and what they do. And when we're playing in such a bad situation, when we're in this situation, you need that fight to push you over the line in some of these games. And Fulham were completely and utterly comfortable in that whole game, and our players just void of any kind of confidence. So for me, yeah, okay, we could sack Tudor eventually if he doesn't get a result against Palace. But even I don't see anyone coming in and changing anything. Like, these players are going to be in the same state that they're in right now in 2 weeks' time. Nothing's going to change. So
we are in a mess. We are.
Don't think it matters.
And sorry, I'm going to come to you, but obviously, as we know on this show, I am dyslexic. So I did chuckle to myself a little bit trying to read this person's. I thought it was going to be a Mr. Motivator moment where I was just going to not be able to compose myself. But Danza Beta has basically said we're the only team to not have a new manager bounce. It's ridiculous. So he's hit the nail on the head there, isn't he?
Yeah, he has, really. We all agreed that we were going to give him sort of a free pass on the Arsenal game.
Yeah.
That Fulham game's on him, to be fair. He does have only a select few to choose from. For me, I do agree with Joseph to the point of I really don't think what manager we're getting, to be honest. I would just like, if he was to go and we lost to Palace, I would like someone who loves the club, like a Ryan Mason, just to bring the love back into the coaching side of it. Because the worry for me is a lot of those players out there have probably got relegation release clauses in their contract. So if we get relegated, they know they're going to leave anyhow. A Basuma is out of contract at the end of the season, if I'm right. He's going to go. You watch him now. I mean, we're struggling for numbers, so he has to play. But he doesn't care. He doesn't care. The majority of the players out there, they look to me, I don't know if I can speak for the four of you guys, but they look to me as if they don't care whether we go down or we stay up. So
it is worrying. It is
completely agree. So
I think irrespective of what manager we get in, I honestly think we're going to struggle for a new manager bounce.
Yeah, we're struggling for that. There is another comment in the there is another message in the comment section talking about our youth. And obviously the under-21s were playing at the same time today. They lost 4-2 away at Liverpool. They were 2-2 towards the end of the game. But again, the youth, again, I said this on Friday, I do believe we should be playing some of them. But equally, we are looking at potentially to put our Premier League survival in the hands of 17-year-olds that haven't played senior men's football. That's the worrying sign. For me, Callum Olasesi, who's on the bench, he should be playing. For me, if we are letting Yves Basuma leave at the end of the season for no contract, we've got a lad on the bench there that's got a bright future that we should be playing more, even without adding Papsar to that comment and as well. But the youth, unfortunately, did lose as well today. There is just over 1,000 of you watching. Cal, did you see the message I just sent you?
I will just have a quick look
on the private chat on here. There is an announcement that's come out from Change to Spurs.
I'm just going to try and get that. I'm just going to try and get that up quickly on X. Bear with me.
If Joseph says he's got it there, so Joseph, if you mind reading that out for us, I'll put it up.
It's quite long.
Yeah, well, it is up on the screen there for everybody as well. But this is an announcement that has just been put through from Change to Spurs. I do like to be as open as I can on the channel. I do support both for and against situations. So what we put on here sometimes might not be our own personal views. However, I probably could speak for all five of us and say that we want ENIC to leave this football club as quickly
100%.
as possible. So Joseph, take it away.
Yeah, so it's an open letter to Tottenham Hotspur supporters. So, fellow Spurs supporters, for many of us, Tottenham Hotspur is more than a football club. It is part of our identity, our families, and our lives. We support Spurs not out of our convenience, but out of loyalty that has lasted generations. Right now, supporters are experiencing deep concern about the direction of the club and its leadership. The uncertainty surrounding the future, both on and off the pitch, has created frustration and a growing belief that change is necessary. Change for Tottenham believes the time has come for supporters to make their voices heard directly. Today, we are launching the final stage of a coordinated supporter campaign designed to increase accountability and transparency around the future of our club. When we ran this campaign previously, we know how much of an impact that it had on the club and the board at the time. We received calls from the club and had dialogue with them regarding the campaign. The first stage focuses on individual supporters' voices. We will then ask supporters to engage directly with the club's commercial partners in a professional and respectful manner, highlighting supporter concerns about the current direction of Tottenham Hotspur and the impact this is having on the club's reputation and relationship with the fan base. We are also planning supporter demonstrations at the upcoming fixtures against Nottingham Forest and Brighton, providing fans with an opportunity to show collective strength and unity around the need for change. Full details of these next stages will be communicated shortly. Do you want me to keep going?
Yes, please.
Okay. Each of these actions is designed to ensure that supporter voices are heard clearly, responsibly, and collectively across multiple areas of influence connected to the club. For the first stage, we are asking supporters to contact the decision makers at Tottenham Hotspur directly, because thousands of individual messages from the people who matter most to the football club, its supporters, carry far greater weight than any single organisation speaking on behalf of everyone. When supporters speak personally, authentically, and in large numbers, it becomes impossible to ignore. It demonstrates genuine concern, not organised messaging. It shows the true impact of the club's direction on the people who sustain it. We are therefore urging all supporters, whether you are a season ticket holder, one Hotspur member, or a loyal overseas fan, to email the club immediately to express their view and to call for new custodianship of Tottenham Hotspur. Many supporters now believe that ENIC's time as owners has run its course and that the club requires new leadership aligned with Tottenham Hotspur's footballing ambitions, identity, and long-term success. Many supporters also believe that significant leadership changes are required at executive level as part of any reset intended to restore confidence and direction at the club. Supporters may wish to raise issues including the need for ENIC to sell the club and allow new custodians to take Tottenham Hotspur forward, whether the current leadership retains the confidence of supporters, whether the current executive leadership structure is fit for purpose, including roles held by Johan Langer and Vinay Venkatesham, the club's strategy in the event of relegation, including players, playing staff, finances, and competitiveness, ticket pricing and affordability should the club's circumstances change, the long-term sporting strategy and ambition for success. We ask all supporters to communicate respectfully and responsibly. Abuse, threats, and discriminatory language have no place in this campaign and will not be endorsed by Change for Tottenham. If the direction of Tottenham Hotspur matters to you, this is the moment for collective responsibility. Change does not come from one group alone. It comes when supporters stand together and make their voices heard. Thousands of individual voices united by the same concern can create real accountability. We also recommend signing the Spurs Charter, which is on X. Its objectives broadly align with ours, and we do not have a monopoly on ideas. Getting thousands of signatures will help broadcast support for our objectives. We urge every supporter who cares about the future of our club to send an email this week. Our club, our voice.
Cal, just initial thoughts on that statement. It's quite lengthy. There's quite a lot to unpack in there, but I think it's very important what they've addressed.
Yeah, you're not wrong, mate. And I'm probably more moderate than even some of the guys on this panel. You know, I kind of fence sit with it. I go. I think they make some very valid points. My concerns are that they've tried protest after protest after protest. No one's turned up. It has been rushed. It has been messy. It's been reactionary. And then they change when something happens after a couple of days, if you get what I mean. We saw it at the Champions League game, saying about a walkout, and we saw it at the City game, and everyone stayed seated at the 70 minutes. So what they are saying is very valid, and it's probably what we are all saying or have been afraid to say for so long. But these guys, there's not enough. If you're going to make change, you boycott everything. You stop putting money into the club. You stop buying on every single market. You stop doing everything, and you make the club hurt, because it's like someone said in the chat, Spurs are run as a business. Well, Spurs are a business, so then you make them hurt as a business. And I like what they're saying. I think that they are saying everything we want to say. I just don't see it making any difference, because the club ain't going to give up a £4 billion business because 2,000 fans are creating a little bit of shit outside the stadium on a Wednesday or Thursday night. To be honest, I just feel that it lacks conviction.
I think that the wording is perfect. I think the what they want to do is spot on. I just think more people need to get behind it, and I genuinely do believe that the intentions are there, and I support it. I don't know anyone that's got a spare £4.5 billion in their back pocket that's gonna get rid of them. This is the ultimate thing. It's not like when Alan Sugar was getting pelters and it was like 150 million. And it doesn't. That's not a huge sum of money. Well, it is to layman's people like us, just normal people. But businessmen, it's not huge. This is £4 to £4.5 billion. This is huge sums. I just don't know where. And it's ultimately, look, I might have this. I don't know, something in my. I don't know what I've got. Nothing about this can of Pepsi. Right, is worth to me a tenner. But Sione wants to pay £2 for it. Well, you ain't having it. Do you know what I mean? It's just that's the reality of things, and I just I want nothing more than ENIC to leave, and I do wholeheartedly respect and stand with Change for Spurs. I hope there is everybody, but you are right in what you're saying as well, Cal. There is a lot of people that go in that football ground that aren't on X. They won't see this stuff. They won't support it anyway. And I must admit, I go to every home game. I sit around a lot of people that travel in just to watch a game of football, and they're not even Tottenham fans.
Well, I was going to ask Gary. It's kind of a tough question, and this isn't pinned at you. This is pinned at Spurs fans in general. Like, so you're saying, obviously, you support what Change for Tottenham are doing. Are you going to stop going to Tottenham games?
Absolutely not.
Exactly, and I think that's the problem. But that's the majority of Tottenham fans. Like, I think a lot of fans, we all sit here and go, "What Change for Tottenham are doing is great. They want change. They're campaigning for change. That's great." But things aren't going to change because I don't think people truly have the energy and the commitment to actually create change. Not at Tottenham Hotspur at the moment, anyway. I don't think the fans truly care enough to stop going to games, to stop buying kits, to stop purchasing anything in the ground. I don't think people care enough, and unfortunately, that's just the case. And I don't see that changing unless we do get relegated, unless things are looking completely and utterly like we're going to lose the football club completely. I don't think that's going to change because, like we said, there was plenty of reason for people to protest when we had that Manchester City game, and I know, but the game went a certain way, and everyone was like, you know what, we're not going to bother. We're going to stay in our seats. There's no real true care from the majority of fans.
I walked out and there was nobody there. No, and I was like, I'll go back in then.
And again, I must admit,
I tried to. It was like in the south stand. I don't sit in the south stand. I sit in the west. And I went and I couldn't find anything. And it was disappointing. And again, I understand the reasons behind it, and I do support what's doing, but equally, I'm hypocritical because I won't stop going to a game, and I'm.
But that's the same as so many fans, and that's the thing. And I don't blame them fans either. I don't blame them. It's just, if you truly want change,
what we've
Even
got
the
though
fans-
as well, it sounds silly, but me and Gary go to youth games, 18s, 21s games as well. Even the money we're paying for them games, we're putting into a subsidiary at the club at Stevenage, or any fans that go and watch at the training ground as well. We're all complacent in it of what we do. People who buy kits, who buy cups, who buy scarves, who they're fucking half and half scarves. They are just epitome of football. But I mean, people who buy them as well. We are all part of it. If we are saying it's a problem, all of us, Si, you've got Spurs memorabilia up on your wall at the moment. You're part of the problem. We've all got.
Si's a season ticket holder. Si's a Tottenham season ticket holder.
Yeah.
So you are the biggest problem out of all of us.
Sorry, guys. What difference does it make if I don't go? I've already paid for my tickets.
Yeah.
It makes no difference.
No, and that's
if
the
I
thing
don't
as
go
well.
to them.
That's one of the issues is
They've had
that
my money already. So
exactly that's the thing as well. Like if I say to Gary, "Oh yeah, if you really want change, don't go to a game." Well, if Gary doesn't go to a game, someone's just going to take his seat. Most likely, like it's not going to change unless everybody gets together. Unless everyone gets together.
Can I just say something? I remember when we lost 7-1 to Newcastle. Was it away? About the last season or the season before, right? And I was like, right, the next home game, we're struggling. I'm not going. I'm going to post my tickets on the Tottenham site because I'm not going. No one will buy them. I posted them on there. 5 minutes later, they'd sold. We just lost 7-1 to Newcastle.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that. You told me that the other day, didn't you? You told me that the other day. That is the reality that we're in. Phil, just coming to you on the change for Spurs, because you are technically, I guess, you're an international Tottenham fan. You obviously were born in the UK, but where do you stand with it?
I think I agree with everyone so far on points of it, and I agree with Cal as well. Though, like I think the points that they've made are all valid, and we want change for Spurs to be successful, and we want to see change of the club. But it comes across to me a bit that, that we, as we said, they haven't managed, or we haven't managed to get the numbers together, for protests in front of games and stuff. And at the moment, Change for Spurs are kind of trying to obviously come up with new ideas in terms of, how to affect this change. But it comes across to me, and this is not being negative against Change for Spurs, right? I've got full respect for what Billy and all the other guys there are doing, but it comes across a bit desperate to me, like the way, like sending a few emails in, or like, even like thousands of people emailing the club is not going to change a single thing. And like going out to corporate partners or something, right, or sponsors and making our concerns felt. I get the point of that, but that's not going to change anything at Spurs, in my opinion.
If anything, those things feel, don't they damage us? They damage the reputation of the club, and then financially they will damage as well.
They do, and also like it might affect even some people who are interested in buying Spurs. So I don't want to invest in a club or a fan base potentially like that. In all honesty, I think the only look. You said it as well, though, right? The only way that there's going to be change for Spurs if someone is literally comes in and is ready to put 3.8 or 4 billion or however the deal is structured on the table and say this is concrete. We want to invest. We want to buy it off you, and we can do it within this timeline. And the current,
but there is reports that Amanda Staveley and her husband are ready to go and they're interested, but the Lewis family pulled out on that. They delayed it. Oddly, just to butt in just before I let you go, Cal, someone has put on Twitter 26 years ago is when Enoch took over, and there was a I guess a statement was put out by a group called Save Our Spurs, and they wrote Save Our Spurs is a campaign which believes that Sir Alan Sugar must leave Tottenham in order for the club to progress. Many of you believe that George Graham possesses the greater threat to the club because of his blah, blah, blah. We need to basically go back to what Bill Nicholson would say, in terms of performances, the way we look at the club. It says Sugar is a businessman first and a Tottenham fan second. He will never spend big money on players or their wages in a way similar to Arsenal or Liverpool or even Spurs of the old, because he sees us as an unnecessary gamble. Spurs have had such a large fan base. What is this going in Europe for more than once? Currently touting a stake in Tottenham for 150 million. So that's what we were talking about 26 years ago. In the decade before him, Spurs would have had qualified for Europe 8 times out of 10, but for European bans, we finished in the top 6 in the league, healthy of 6 out of 10 times. Sugar brought in £8 million and argued it was his business plan to write it off, blah, blah, blah. We don't need to know too much about Sugar. There was a bit at the end that I saw while you was talking. Against Birmingham, we fielded our strongest available 11 for a competition that was just important to us. We had so many injuries. This is just Tottenham. The same as Tottenham. Like,
I remember that.
Yeah, almost a decade of mediocrity under Sugar has passed, and it takes a giant killing by Birmingham to make us open our mouths. It is time for Sugar to acknowledge the hate that is the majority of the White Hart Lane feel for him, and that we're going to sit in and watch for another blah blah blah. We'll keep watching. In the words of Bill Nicholson, the true night of the lane is not a case of satisfying the public, the people connected with the game, but the people who go to watch it. Sugar would do well to heal to the advice and let someone step in who actually cares about the football club, not just the PLC. That was 26 years ago.
Yeah, I remember it well, guys, because I got ribbed for about another 2 years after we lost the Blues. Birmingham City, so I remember that time well.
So in 2000, December 2000, because actually looked yesterday, December 2000, Sir Alan Sugar announced he was stepping down as the chairman of Tottenham because he had sold his stake in the club to ENIC and to the Tottenham season ticket holder, Daniel Levy. 26 years later, we're now reportedly worth about, about 3.5 billion. I mean, that is a huge investment, a huge return that they're going to likely get. 26 years is a long time as well. It is change is needed. I don't know who's going to have a spare £4 billion.
That's the only.
These takeovers don't happen overnight, though. That's the thing. This is what people are not realizing. People think, right, 3.5 billion. ENIC are out the door tomorrow. This will take up to 12 months to go through legal legislation and censorship and changeover and regulatory commissions. Everything with a business acquisition this big won't happen overnight. And there is a good chance in all that we will have a transfer embargo as well, because there won't be money going in and out of the club.
Yeah, we can't sign players, which is going to cause us even more problems. Just before I come to you, Phil, Arsenal have just gone 1-0 up to make us all feel even more happy. But equally, Amanda Staveley's was interested before, wasn't she? And they pulled back that interest, which actually ends the 20th of March, I believe.
Yeah.
So she can now step up again. To be interesting to see if anything does come of these latest reports. I know we've kind of gone off topic now compared to what we started with, which was the poor performance against Fulham. But Phil's right. Another set piece goal for Arsenal, which is disappointing. Yeah. There is 1,000. There's over 1,200 of you watching at the moment, which I do really appreciate. Do get involved in the chat. We'll drop any of your questions live on here, and the 5 of us can answer them. Please keep them respectful, because there was one that wasn't the best, which I didn't show. So please do be sensible. I get that we're all frustrated, but please try to be sensible if possible. If you can, drop over to YouTube, give us a like. Spellings at the top left or right hand side of the screen, whichever you're watching. Project Spurs. It will really help us continue to grow. The 5 of us try to do this every week when we can. But we'll go back to the second half side. Matisse Tell for me looked promising when he came on. the goal really came from him, didn't it? And a good little knockdown to Archie Gray with a cross, and then Richarlison at the back post.
Yeah, it did. For once, I mean, kudos to Archie Gray as well. Once a bit of running off the ball, which I find, which frustrates me a lot with Tottenham. I think it's always ball to feet. There's not much running off the ball or making space. Archie Gray ran off the ball. Tell played him in lovely with his weaker foot. Lovely chip cross to Richarlison. You know, that was the best move for us in the whole game. And after that, I mean, there was no more movement again. It's just a lack of ideas up front, really, for me. They just struggle to think. They just want the ball to feet all the time. Like Xavi just wants to beat every single player sometimes. It's frustrating, but that move was good, deserved the goal. Why Richarlison got booked for when you saw Bassi he was bear hugging the ball, wouldn't let it go. So I can't understand why Richarlison got booked as well. But yeah, I mean, I would have liked to see us push on from there. But it didn't happen, did it? Didn't happen.
Phil, what did you make of the first Fulham goal? Because, as we all know, last week that was apparently a foul, and this week it was apparently okay. Now, I did say on the podcast before, the reason I believe the Arsenal goal was given is because the on-field decision was a goal, so VAR didn't need to intervene. Today, I was absolutely shocked that was given.
Yeah, look, I mean, I've only seen a couple, like 2 replays after it. I haven't seen it since the game again. I'm sure it's all over Twitter, but from what I could see, I mean, he's clearly got two hands on him. There's a million times more pressure than what was applied last weekend, in the Gabriel incident. And, he impedes him, right, from jumping it. There's probably an argument to say that Dragusin would have still not got there because it looked like he was way off. But look, that's a foul. I mean, that goal should never be given. And regardless of whether there's enough to change, whether the goal's given or not, and then whether VAR has to either overturn it or keep the decision the same. VAR has got to get involved there and has got to disallow that goal. There's no way that can be given. It's a clear foul on the defender, So, that was unlucky, but it just fits to the season again, though, doesn't it? Like we are getting a lot of decisions that don't go our way. It's that complete inconsistency in the league that annoys people. The rival fans are just laughing at us because it just seems to get us each time now. But other fans that probably don't have anything to do with us are like, well, that doesn't help this consistency question in the league.
No. And there was a post from Sports Illustrated, put 3 pictures up. One picture was Ekitike scoring against Romero. The second picture was Kolo Muani scoring against Gabriel. And the third picture was obviously today's game. And the only goal in them 3 pictures that didn't stand was our one. And ours was the lesser
ours was nothing.
Ours was nothing. Joseph,
you know what I mean?
Joseph, I'm going to come to you because Igor Tudor has made a comment on the first goal. He said, so this is ridiculous to not give the foul because the consequences is too big. It's not a small foul in the middle of the pitch. It's a goal after. So there is logic in that. So the referee, beautiful thing to keep playing here. Let's play strong, Jules. It's fantastic. I like it. But there is a logic. If the goal is because he takes advantage, not thinking about football. He was not thinking about the ball. He was thinking about how to cheat. So he cheated the player with pushing and scored the goal. So it's logic. It's a cheating and there's a foul. It's not the first duel that they want. Here is for football is more. His English is quite poor. This is actually what's wrote. This isn't my dyslexia coming through. But it is tough with these duels. It's nothing like nothing with that. So there was no logic in this decision, and the logic above everything else. So he's obviously very adamant, Joseph, that this is a clear foul. I thought that was a clear foul. What did you think?
I don't know, really. I mean, I'm always one to kind of, as much as VAR frustrates me, especially when it goes against us, I'm all for one of it in terms of if they get a decision wrong for us, but then they get a decision right the next time. Okay, I don't mind it if they get the decision right, but the thing that's frustrating is just the inconsistencies. Like it really makes zero sense how our goal was disallowed and how this goal wasn't disallowed. For me, I think they both should be goals. I understand there's a bit of a push, and I think, yeah, you can understand where maybe you give a foul for that. But I just think, so our one against Arsenal, no chance it should have been a foul. And for me here, I don't think there's loads in it for it to be a foul either. But it's just the fact that both decisions, I don't understand
the consistency of it, right?
I don't understand how one's gone one way and one's gone the other. They should both be the same outcome. So that's what's really frustrating about it. And especially because of the position we're in. You know, we're fighting for our lives here. We need these decisions to be correct. Or we need these decisions to be correct. And if that meant that the goal against Arsenal should have counted, fine. Then maybe we would have gone on to lose that game and this goal would have counted, whatever. But if it means that they think these situations are fouls, okay, the Arsenal one was disallowed. The one we scored against Arsenal was disallowed. This one should be disallowed as well. Because what's happened is in one of these situations, they've got the decision wrong because there's nothing really different between them. The commentator was sitting there saying, oh, it's so different to the one last week. No, it wasn't. It's exactly the same thing. It's exactly the same thing that's happened.
Joseph, didn't the commentator say that Dragusin wasn't even going to get the ball or something?
Gabriel wasn't getting anywhere near the ball. He just dived.
No.
So the inconsistencies is really frustrating, especially when in the situation we're in right now, where we need results and we're getting unlucky with decisions. I want them to get decisions right. So I'm not saying. I remember when Romero got sent off, and people kept on going back to one where a Manchester United player, I think it was Dalot, didn't get sent off against Manchester City. And I understand the frustration, but for me, the Romero one was a red card. It was a straight red card, no doubt in my mind. And just because they've got a decision wrong one time doesn't mean they should get the decision wrong again. I think they need to get it right. It's just the inconsistencies are really frustrating, and that's what's really pissing us all off. I think if our goal was given last weekend when Kolo Muani scores, I think if that goal was given, I don't think any of us would be sitting here saying anything about this. Well, we wouldn't be saying a lot about it. But it's the fact that we've literally had it last week in the last game, a decision go against us, and now we've had it the same thing, same situation, and it's gone against us again. It doesn't feel right. But I don't think that last week. I just don't think it excuses the rest of the performance anyway.
No, I agree with you. Igor Tudor's been speaking to Tottenham's social media. Let's just hear from him.
Igor, thanks for joining us. Finished 2-1 to Fulham. What are your thoughts on the game and the performance?
I'm happy with the performance. I think Fulham was better. Second half, we start to push. In the end, there was desire to win, but not enough.
All the plans when we concede off so early makes it difficult, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's make more difficult. Incredible mistake from the referee, but this is how it here in England. It's always, we can discuss all the time about this, but you need to understand that if someone push you even one easy and he take advantage, then after is a goal, so it's a foul. It's a foul.
Second half, we showed some good fight, and the substitutes made an impact for you. Matisse Tell, some positives there.
Yeah, some positivity. Of course, we need to stay focused and thinking to progress.
We now have, as you all know, 5 games in 17 days. I mean, how do you get your ideas across when training time is so limited?
Now we need to do our best what we can. This difficult moment, stay all together and then thinking positive and keep working.
Just finally, Igor, Jed Spence wasn't here today, injured?
Yeah, he has some problem with the soles.
I'm not sure what he said then at the end. Soles. I'm assuming... Huh?
Soreness, I think. Soreness.
Soreness. Soreness.
What?
Calf injury,
Why would-
apparently.
Why would we miss a game?
Probably a
for
sore
soreness?
calf.
It's a calf, yeah. It's a sore calf.
I mean,
think.
really?
Mate,
In-
this is better than a sore
It's probably
throat.
because of the bad English. Well,
Yeah,
probably
I
impact
think so.
injury.
Yeah. I mean, look, he's clearly upset, annoyed, frustrated, all of those things. What I quite like about him is that there is no nonsense about him, right? He will just say what he wants because he knows he ain't going to be here after May.
He's not
Guys, you
sugarcoating.
say
is he?
that, but the way we're going, a lot of those players ain't going to be here after May, and I think they already know that with relegation release clauses and stuff.
No, definitely not. Cal, what do you make of the second half performance?
Pretty crap up until the 66th minute, to be honest. I mean, I'm just being realistic. They came out with the traps very early. They'd already had Bassi just before the half not give them a 3-0 lead. They probably should have been another 2 up by the 60th minute as well. How we didn't make changes at half time. This is what annoys me about the Premier League in general, that we don't see changes at half time. These managers love their egos and they think this will work itself out. Well, you're 2-0 down. The last time we overturned a 2-0 down was against Arsenal back like 2010 or 2012. That's how long it's been for us. So giving us...
Yeah, it's disappointing.
Yes, I mean,
really,
realistically, I think that we should have made change. Yeah.
Sorry, you just keep cutting in and out of us there, Cal. So I think you might be on a slight delay. I have put the table up, Phil. We are currently, as things stands, 2 points ahead of Nottingham Forest, who are in 17th, and still 4 points ahead of West Ham in 18th. But the goal difference being in our favour by 15. I would class that as an extra point. Coming into next week, we've got Palace, Forest have got Man City, and then West Ham have got Fulham. Again, we are relying on other people in and around us, but we really need to pick up points there against Palace, don't we, Phil?
We need 3 points in that game. You know, I'm not sure even a draw doesn't bring enough. Because, you know, I've got a feeling that West Ham could pinch something against Fulham. We assume Forest are probably going to lose. That's obviously an assumption. But, you know, it's probably the likely outcome. We need a win. Like, we need to beat a team like Palace at home if we're in this fight. And I can only hope that Igor Tudor takes some of those things that happened in the second half with regards to his subs, because as Carol said, until the 60-something minute, we were dog poo, basically. Like, there was nothing happening. Like, we should have gone 3-0 down on multiple occasions. You know, we on another day, we genuinely lose that game 6-1 or something. We were that bad. But some of those subs that came on, they did affect the game and they looked good. And there's some of the players that maybe, or arguably some of the fans have been calling maybe to start for us, right, this season in some games, and they haven't. You know, so this is an opportunity for Igor Tudor maybe to get his team selection for Palace a bit better. Hopefully maybe with a different formation slightly, because I don't think it worked today, you know, and tell, you know, some of these other players, Sousa, get the balance right in the team. He's still learning, right? He's been at 2 games, right? We do have to remember that. I know, you know, we said, look, he needs to kind of maybe go in again if we don't get a result, but he's only been here 2 games. He's been here like less than 2 weeks he flew in. So, you know, there is also a bit of realism about what he can achieve in that time. But this is now's the moment. Now's the time where he has to take those 2 defeats now, see how unstructured we were in both of those games, see that there was no midfield control whatsoever, and tweak that midfield, you know, and tweak the back line.
He has been saying in the press conference, Phil, he was just asked if there was any positive signs that he saw today. This is quite worrying in terms of his response to that. He said the problems are much bigger. The problems are much bigger. It's not enough. It's not enough. Now, to me, that feels like, I don't know about the four of you, but to me, that feels like he's been there for all of a week and he's gone, oh my God, this club is an absolute mess.
Yeah, it will be like
do you reckon
that.
he's thinking that he's got to... Do you reckon he can terminate his own contract? Do you think that's what he's trying to say?
Yeah, I think he wants out.
I find that really concerning because we've
this
obviously
is what I've said though.
We see Ange come out, didn't we? Recently, we saw Scott Munn come out. Now, even Thomas Frank's not even put a statement out after leaving. Not even thank you guys, nothing. And then we've got a guy that's been there all of a week, Joseph, and now effectively saying the problems at this club are huge.
Well, this is why I don't think if he went, I don't think anyone's going to come in and just make any kind of change because the issues are not on the manager itself. Okay, yes, it's part of it. Yes, Thomas Frank was part of it, but it's clear that the issues aren't just on the manager. It's the fact that the players have no confidence. I don't think that any of the players are that good at football, to be honest. Like even just some of the simple things about passing the ball to the right player, controlling the ball, they were awful. And like they're just moments where you're just like, what are you doing? What decision are you making here? I don't understand it. They make football look difficult, the players on the pitch. They genuinely do. And we saw it with Fulham. A lot of these players for Fulham aren't international players. A lot of these players don't actually play for their their national teams. At least some of them don't. But they made football look so simple. A pass and a move is so simple, and Tottenham players can't do it. So I have no confidence that anyone's going to get us out of this because I don't think it's on the manager is the reason we're in this situation. The players are pathetic. They're awful. Right. They've been awful this season. They were awful last season, most of the season as well. And we're in this situation with or without Igor Tudor. It doesn't matter if he's here or not. So I don't see anything changing.
Even our players we relied on last season, like Van de Ven, he looks a shadow.
Well, I think he's given up. He looks like he's given up. Like there was a moment in that game because I thought in the first half he was the only player who would. Whenever he got the ball, he was like, "I need to do something with it because we can't play the ball forward. Every time we tried to play the ball up the pitch, we lost it because Fulham had a little press on and our players can't deal with it. So every time Van de Ven got the ball, he went, "I'm going to have to run through the length of the pitch." I think at the end of it,
need to play left back at this point.
But I think towards the end of it, he was just like, what am I supposed to do? We're 2-0 down. Because I didn't think in the first half Van de Ven was terrible. He wasn't great, but he needs players around him to do something. The fact that he's having to get the ball from centre-back and try and run it up the pitch shows how poor everyone else is in front of him. Because every time we try and pass it into midfield, we lose the ball. Every time we try and play it up forward, we lose the ball. So I don't blame him. He's pissed off. You can tell he is. There's no reason a player like Van de Ven should be in a relegation battle. He leaves Tottenham at the end of this. He's going to leave Tottenham in the summer. No doubt in my mind. Because why would he want to stay here right now in this situation with these players? He's not going to achieve anything with Tottenham going forward. He needs to leave and go somewhere else and go somewhere where he's actually going to be with players up to his level. Because the players at Tottenham are not near his level at all. So it's just an absolute shit show. And I don't think anything's going to change.
Just before I come to you, Si, he's also said this. He said, "It's a hang on. I've got it here. It's a complicated situation. A lot of problems. I cannot tell you nothing new. Nothing new. We need to find the voices inside of each of us." I said to the players, "It's always what you're going to do, what you want to do with yourself. More personality, more wish to do something, reacting. Plenty of things and a lot of things. We are lack when we attack. So we are lacking in attack and we are lacking of the quality to score a goal. We are lacking in the middle to run. We are lacking behind to stay there to suffer and not concede a goal. So an amazing situation. Amazing." He's had enough already.
So what he's saying, guys, is we're lacking everywhere, basically.
So what he's saying is, what the fuck have I walked into? This place is an absolute shit show.
He didn't realise how bad it was, though. That's the thing, isn't it? Like,
I think he's realised that it's a lot worse than what he walked into. Yeah, I agree with you, Phil.
We said it before. So I was just going to say, we said it, and like Joseph actually, said this a couple of weeks ago when we got Tudor, that you didn't have a good feeling about him, you know, and right, based on kind of, you know, the bigger
Joseph's
picture
fault.
of what he's done, you know, in Italy.
Just one
the
of many
thing is-
things.
Yeah,
One of many things I've done wrong. You know, I think
it's
it's
your
just
fault. You
put it on
jinxed.
me,
All
man.
blame Josie.
They should have listened
This,
to you,
this,
man.
this will be Joseph's last time on the
Yeah.
podcast until the end of the
Anybody
season.
in the chat, if you wish to come on and replace Joseph, then please
Oh, God.
send us a CV to projectspurs@yahoo.com, telling us about all of the other podcasts that you've been on and your experience. But honestly, Phil, I know we cut you off there, so we do apologize. But he's come into an absolute shit show, and he's basically gone, we're lack everywhere. Amazing. What an amazing situation to be in.
The thing is, though, and this is what we said a couple of weeks ago, though, is that, you know, when he impacted the change in Italy, he took over those teams generally who were a bit higher up in the table, and they'd kind of lost track of their season in terms of either qualifying for Europe or getting mid-table, right? They weren't like down in 15th, 16th, like a dead team with like zero confidence. This is the first time he's ever had to do that. And I think even then he expected something different, you know, that he would literally probably come in, he'd spend whole week with the players on the training ground, he'd have lunch with them, take them out for a pizza, or whatever it was in Mill Hill. And then, you know, he'll get them, you know, he'll build that confidence quick. And he's obviously come in now and he's just seeing a desolate training room, but probably also a desolate club. So, you know, Lange apparently, like, didn't he say, I'm sure I saw multiple sources on X saying that there was some kind of quote from Tudor saying that Lange told him that there was a bunch of players, like loads of players, like that were going to return really, really quick from injury. Well, it's not that many, though, is it? We're talking about Porro and Danzo
right.
now. And who
we
else
lost
is
Finch.
Richarlison.
Dougie, due back soon, maybe.
you know,
Richarlison came back, Danzo, Porro, and then Spence got injured like in the week.
all of the other ones are long termers, right? For the next, you know, month or 6 weeks or months or whatever to the end of the season. He's obviously shell shocked probably by everything. You know, he will have never seen a club that's as dysfunctional as us behind the scenes as well. So he's probably like just scratching his head now as well, thinking like, well, what can I do until Palace? What can I do with the players next week? You know, like, how can I do it? He's probably
And I said
like,
it,
oh,
Phil.
Cup final. That is
I
a
said
cup
it.
final.
I said it as well, Phil. Like, you know, when Igor Tudor came in at Juve, yeah, they weren't doing great. They weren't terrible. Thiago Motta had them playing poor football, and they should have been better than they were. The fact is, going into the rest of the season, their players were better than a lot of players around them, a lot of teams around them. They were in a position where they are the 4th or 5th best team in Italy, and that's where he got them to. He got them to their ceiling, which was good. But right now, what is Tottenham's ceiling? Because personally, I look at the team that we had out there against Fulham today. I don't think our players were much better, are better than Fulham's players. I genuinely don't. I don't think our players that we've got on the pitch are better than what Fulham have. I think our defence is probably as good as theirs. I think their midfield is debatably better, and they play better football.
Yeah.
I don't see where our team should be any higher than we are right now with all the injuries we've got. The players that are playing, like we're going into this game against Palace, and we're hoping we're going to win. I don't think our team's better than Crystal Palace's team that we're going to play on Thursday. The lineup that we're going to have is not going to be better than the lineup that Crystal Palace will have. And that's the thing. So we're going into the game, and it's not like we're in a situation where, we are miles better than Palace. We should go over there and we should easily win this. It's just Thomas Frank couldn't get us playing. No, this team is in this position because this team is that shit. This is where we should be. And that's the problem. We're asking Igor Tudor to come in and overperform with a team that isn't good enough and has no confidence about getting out of the situation. So I think he's realised, like, I've not come into, again, Lazio are a big side in Italy when he was there. They're a big side in Italy. They had some great players when he was there. There's no reason why they should be down. They should be in the high, you know, the top half of the Serie A. Same with Juventus. They should be in the top 4, and that's where he got them to. With Tottenham, we have no reason why we should be any higher than we are, because everyone around us are as good as us.
It's coming into a team that hasn't won for since December? Hasn't won a game. So Yeah.
We're in the Premier League. We are now 10 games without a win. So we actually did that against Bournemouth, didn't we? It was Bournemouth hadn't won in 10 games, and then we went there and helped them. We've conceded 10 goals in the last 3 games, and we've had no win in the Premier League in 2026, and we're the 1st of March. We're 3 months into it. But apparently, according to Yang Lang, we didn't need any recruitment in January and all was going to be okay. We're now
Wanker.
2 points off finishing 17th. The only positivity really for us as a growing podcast, or whatever we would call this, video cast. I don't know. Someone called it a group chat, a video call the other day when they were trying to criticize me.
I think it's group therapy, actually.
Yeah, someone said you're just doing a Zoom call, and I said, well, there is 1,700 people watching our Zoom call, so not too bad. But yeah, there's 1,700 you watching at the moment. We do really appreciate that, especially with a number of bigger channels, let's call them, streaming as well. So appreciate you checking us out. Please do follow all of these guys as well on their X accounts. Good Tottenham people, speak sense, most of them. You know, Callum doesn't. But yeah, it's a difficult situation.
I ain't buying you chicken and chips Friday now. You can stuff the money I owe you. I ain't buying you that.
Yeah. Well, you ain't getting into the ground then, son, because I got your ticket.
I'll just hang around. I'll just look like that
anybody in the
weirdo.
chat wants to come to the under-21s with me on Friday, I now have a spare ticket. Please do send your CVs into PRJCTSPURS@yahoo.com, and I will sift through the applications. Chelsea have scored, which is fantastic. So it's 1-1. But yeah, for me, Palace on Thursday is a cup final. There is no doubt about that. Simply have to win that and get through. So we're just going to go around the houses, just have a little chat with everybody before we call it a night. So we've been going for about an hour and 20 minutes. Callum, anything else you would like to add before we sign off? And if not, please let everybody know where they can find you.
Just a little one, obviously, great win for the under-18s yesterday with a number of debuts in there, including Halton Sinclair as well, someone who has done amazingly this season for up to the under-16s at the moment, over 50 goal contributions. So he's meant to start being around the 18s for the rest of the season. I believe, was it 2-1 they won in the end, Gary, weren't it? Yesterday.
Yeah, 1-2-1. Yeah. Norton Sinclair's got 52 goals this season and 15 assists. Wow. He's 14 years old and he's just started, came on for the under-18s, which is
get him in the starting 11.
Yeah.
Ironically, I mean, this is all a valid point, though, what we've been saying, that half of these youth players would probably have more heart than these guys playing on the pitch. Olasesi for Basuma. Roswell can play right back or left back, so he would probably have more than Porro. Wilson, not so much, but people like Tiernan Thompson, Luca Williams-Barnett would mean more to us.
For me, Callum Olasesi should have played. Should be playing. He was linked to go to Torino quite heavily, wasn't he? Didn't go. He's a future at the football club. He's got a contract for a number of years. We've got somebody we're playing that's going to leave the football club in less than 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And no disrespect to Basuma, but he isn't pulling up any trees. He isn't doing anything that's making us go, oh my God, we need to keep him. Why are we not going? There's this young lad here that's come through our youth academy that a number of top clubs in Europe, or in certainly because there was some teams in Holland as well that wanted him. Why are we not going? Let's go for it. Let's put this lad in because he's a good player. He's a very good player.
I think someone that we are actually missing at the moment is Ben Davis as well. And I hate to say that, but he's someone who takes being at the club seriously. It's not the level of player, but it's the leadership that he brings and the calmness for it as well. And that's not something
in the away fans today, by the way. He was in the away support today. That just shows you.
He could have been on the bloody bench for us at this rate, giving Tudor something to think about.
Something I did want to bring up, actually, is I was watching the Dele Alli interview. I don't know if anybody else has watched it or catched onto it, but he was talking about, obviously, him and the players who's around, Harry and Christian, Eric Dyer, all of the players we know, Hugo, etc. And he said it just felt like such a big family that every day they just couldn't wait to get in. It wasn't work. He said, look, let's be fair, football isn't work, but it is. We couldn't wait to get in and just be around each other. We were just like friends, a big family. And he said, we always check in now. I can't envision that is what's happening at Tottenham Hotspur right now. It must be absolutely night and day different.
Yeah, well, you could see it back then, couldn't you? That there was such a close bond with the manager, with the players and the fans. Everyone was aligned. I mean, now I wouldn't even want to see what it's like. You know, you can just imagine the players not wanting to come to training. You know, like you see it on the official videos, don't you? When they watch them come in, you know, walking onto the pitch and stuff, they look awful. Like, you know, the body language is all wrong. They don't do those videos anymore, do they? With the club, you know, where they turn up at the training center, right? Where there's someone asks them some funny question, you know, and everyone's smiling. They don't even do that anymore. It must be awful there. It's a shame, but look, that's what happens when you lose 35 home games in the league in like 18 months. You know, it's not just this season, right? It's also like last season as well. You know, we've said it before. You can't just change a culture and a vibe in a team just by winning a trophy. If the stuff in the background isn't there, if the structure's not there, the strategy's not there, if the right people aren't there, you can't just suddenly change it. And it looks to me that the players have obviously given up. They've given up with the club as well, because, you know, like the messaging from the club is just always wrong. The lies, you know, all this stuff. It's just all coming into this hot pot of negativity. And we just need to hope that we can, as I said, pull out a couple of results. Look, we only probably need, like, I know we said 9, 10, 11 points, right? But we probably just need 2 wins first of all,
I think so. Yeah, 2 or 3. 2 or 3.
2 or 3 wins, but 2 wins in the next couple of games. And we're probably safe or as good at it.
Phil, that's easier said than done. I think we need to get one win. The confidence in those players is shot.
We can't.
In my opinion, shot.
Joseph said it. Like, where's the next win coming from?
Yeah.
Because we also concede too many goals. So, like, it's not just like we need to score enough goals, but we need to stop conceding.
I think they said on TV, it's been we've conceded more or 2 or more goals in the last 8 games. You know, have we scored? Like, where are we? We're not going to score 2 or more goals in most games. So if we're going to concede 2 or more in every game, we're never going to get anything.
And it's not like we're not playing any defenders. We're playing 5 at the back most of the time. Yeah, so you've got 3 at the back, 2 wing backs, and normally like 2 or 3 holding midfielders. You would think at least we were not conceding and not scoring. We were just getting 0-0s every week. I mean, I'd probably take that for the rest of the season. That's 12. That's 11 points.
I agree with you playing some of the youngsters now. I mean, some of those players that were playing today are not going to be there at the end of the season. Like Bissima, starters, like you said. If the unthinkable happens, how many of them have got a relegation release clause in the contract? They're gone. Either way, these youngsters, they will be there for this season and next season. If they perform well enough, then and we stay up, they might get a run of games next year in the Premier League. If the unthinkable happens, we might go with them in the Championship. We've got to give some of them a go. We've got to. They will give us a lot more than what those other players are giving us.
So you're absolutely right on that. I agree with you, because I was calling for that last week, that we should at least try and integrate 1 or 2. But I tell you what, before we do that, Tudor needs to play round pegs in round holes.
Yeah,
that comes before that. So Sousa needs to play on the left, right? What's his name? Gallagher. He should not be playing right midfield. Right, so either he plays the formation and he adapts it so that players can play in their normal roles, or he works it out. You know, Archie Gray should be playing in midfield. You know, if he's going to do that, right?
Olasema shouldn't be playing.
No, he shouldn't. He shouldn't. No, he shouldn't be playing. I would much rather that we had Callum Olasesi in there.
In all honesty, I wouldn't play Randall Kolo Muani. I wouldn't play Paulinho. I wouldn't play Basuma, because none of them are going to be at this club next season. Simple as that. I know that's big calls, but
Phil,
they need
I
to
just
go.
come back to what you were saying there? I can slightly maybe understand a tiny bit why he might not play Sousa today, been away from home. But at home against Palace in the week, let's get that left footer on that left wing, and us as fans, I'm sure if he makes a few raw mistakes, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt, because I think the majority of us fans want to see that left-footed on the left-hand side, don't we?
It's got to be Sousa, and it's got to be in front of him. It's got to be Matisse Tell. It just has to be.
Yeah.
We've got to.
Yeah.
I would actually play on against Palace. Get rid of Dragusin. I mean, the guy is literally the walking epitome of a dump truck. He moves literally like a construction equipment.
Is Romero back now, or has he got another game?
No, one more.
Yeah,
one more game. But realistically, if we're going to go for it, Sousa, Danso, Van der Ven, Porro, probably in front. Sarr and Gallagher. Keep Basuma out. If we really want to, we play Olasesi instead of Gallagher. Tell, Simmons, Richarlison, Solanke. Simple as that. Let's go to a 4-2-3-1. And if we're really being serious, get rid of the clown in goal and play Luca Gunter or Brandon Austin. Simple as that.
Or Kinski.
Wasn't Kinski on the bench
He's
today?
on the bench, yeah.
No.
Play Kinski, yeah.
I tell you another thing.
He don't inspire me with confidence.
I know this is a separate point, but I watched the Old Firm earlier. I thought Mikey Moore was really impressive, and he would be one of the first names on the team sheet right now if he was here.
He'd be playing every game.
He'd be playing right now.
I put out a tweet yesterday, and the amount of interaction was brilliant, and people viewing it. It was how much impact could Jamie Donnelly, Will Lancashire, and Mikey Moore have done today, or where we are right now. At least they would cherish the play for it. I mean, I was talking to a guy who follows Jamie Donnelly at Oxford. He drives all the way down from Newcastle to watch him every single game he plays, and it's night and day. He says the guy is brilliant. He can do stuff, and just all of our best youth players are on loan at the moment. Frank has screwed us majorly with that, where everyone went out on loan. He had no intention of playing them. And now we are literally squandering to rely on youngsters now who are 16 and 17, which is unfair on them because realistically they are good players for their age group. But even that is going to be pushing it to the limit, and that could make or break their career. Realistically, it's not fair on them either.
Absolutely. Phil, anything you'd like to add before we say bye-bye?
No, not really. But I think just in terms of the game again today, I didn't see any like real lasting positives in terms of our play. And like the only good thing for me is that the goal difference wasn't affected too badly, you know, so we've still got that. Like we could have easily lost 6-1, honestly. And then suddenly, you know, we've got a -5, you know, in terms of our advantage over West Ham. The only thing, again, as I said, is that the subs just proved maybe that, again, those round pegs in round holes need to be stuck to if we've got them. And we do have them, and Tell as well. So I just hope that Tudor learns from it and makes those changes, right, for Palace. But, you know, again, like every game at the moment is the most important game that we've played for years, really, in terms of our survival. And that next game being at home, and obviously we haven't been good at home. We've got the pressure at home, but it is Palace, and you know I know they're still fighting a bit, but they're safe now. They're far away ahead. I think really, this is so important, this game, and we need to see a reaction in this game.
I think it's the biggest game of the season for us, and it needs to be taken as seriously as you would a cup final. Joseph, just coming to you. Anything you'd like to add before we call it a night, or anything that you'd want to promote?
No. I mean, if you know, please follow me, Joseph THFC on X, if you you know, want to talk about anything football, anything American sports. Also, I'm a big Juve fan, so please, follow me, interact with me if you want to talk about any of that. But no, I mean, I'm just very concerned. I don't know. I don't expect a result against Palace. I don't know if we're going to do a show before Thursday, kind of talking about, you know, what's to come with that game. But Yeah, I'm not expecting anything from Tottenham now. I don't have any hope about us getting out of this. Getting out of this situation. I think the only chance we have of staying up is if Nottingham Forest and West Ham are as bad as us, and I don't think they are going to be. I think we're going to carry on losing games, and I think they'll start picking up some kind of points somewhere. So yeah, I'm really concerned. I think we're going to be a Championship club next year. We'll see what that happens with that. But again, we got again the minimum is just get players who will play in the right positions, try and get them up for these games, and try and get them playing better. But today, I genuinely think was awful. I thought it was awful, and I think some people, again in our group chats, are trying to make a case for, well, it wasn't that bad in the second half. Well, there was some positives. There was no. Let's not kid ourselves. We were second best throughout that whole game. Fulham were much better than us, and that is not good enough. That is not going to keep us in the Premier League. Right now, I personally think we are the worst team in the Premier League. I think we're worse than Wolves right now.
Well, statistically we are as well. We are on form, the worst football team in.
And I think we are in our ability.
Yeah, Tottenham remain the only team without a Premier League win in 2026. We're the only team without a win.
Really worried, but you just got to hope. You just got to hope something can change. I mean, we got to, you never know. If you're in one of these games, you might be able to scrape 3 points. And right now, it doesn't matter about performances that much. It's just about getting points. So if we can get some points from somewhere, then, maybe we'll be all right. But I'm really worried because I just don't see us getting any points from anywhere right now.
Absolutely. So just coming to you, there are obviously one positive for you that we want to highlight to the 1,900 of you watching right now. So this would be a great time for anybody that's fans of speaking events. Si?
Yeah, got an evening with Pat Jennings on Thursday, 26th of March near us, compared by Mickey Hazard. So it's two legends for the price of one. And just for Project Spurs viewers and listeners, we've got a discount on the tickets if you visit www.dudleyspurs.co.uk and go to the Pat Jennings evening and put the discount code in Dudley Spurs. You'll get yourself 10% off the price. So it's great. We need a pickup, guys. Pat Jennings, what a legend. Nothing better than that to try and pick us up from the doldrums we're in at the moment, to be honest.
Absolutely. Everyone try and get yourself down to Dudley Spurs to watch the Pat Jennings event. Use the discount code there. I'll post that up across our social media if you didn't grab it in time. As I say, there's 1,900 of you watching at the moment, again, from me and the rest of the Project Spurs team. We do appreciate you, all of you, checking us out and joining in, especially in the chat as well. If you can, all of our social media platforms are available to subscribe to. If you can, also head over to YouTube and give us a little like. That will help us massively. We'll try and get back and do something before Crystal Palace. I'll be at the Palace game myself, so hopefully the lads will be streaming after. Phil's already excited for that opportunity to do that podcast, I can see.
Great. So I've lost my evening again. Wonderful.
Callum's upset because he's lost his evening of just sitting there staring at his computer screen. Si's got his black tie ready for it already. Joseph is about to go and learn some more Italian so he doesn't have to watch Tottenham anymore and just focus on Juventus. And me, I'm going to go cry into my pillow for the rest of the evening. We'll hopefully be back on Thursday with a win if we can. Maybe, who knows? Tottenham Hotspur.